Right. Now, I think, yes, we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your transfer roundup. I mean, OBS, sort your shit out, whatever it is you're fucking doing. Today, we're going to discuss Emi Martinez to Manchester United as a possibility. Liam Delap looks like he's getting closer and closer to United. Kind of the usual terminology around transfers is happening with that one. Ryan Chekri is available, and United are stepping up their interest in him. And also, we do have a press conference ongoing right now with Ruben Amorim, Bruno Fernandes, and Harry Maguire. So we'll get you the quotes from that as we go through the show. But we'll discuss the transfers first, lads. Just give us your initial thoughts on Emi Martinez as a goalkeeper. Does this story pique your interest? Would you take him at Manchester United? Do you think they will move the goalkeeper on in the summer as well? Chivay, what do you reckon?
Hypothetically, yeah. I mean, if there's a deal to be done, and if that's like our only realistic pursuit of a goalkeeper, then yeah, I'd go for him over Onana. I think they offer the same thing in terms of craziness. They're both really crazy. But then I think Emi Martinez just has that little edge over Onana. I think he's more of a... Onana looks awkward sometimes, like saving. Like he makes keeping look difficult. Like, but Martinez just looks more like the natural goalkeeper. And I think it's just a better keeper overall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's also comfortable with the ball at his feet as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and then maybe it's a little bit unfair to Onana, but like just based on like because of recency bias, like I know we've seen him make some unbelievable saves this season. If I remember clearly, probably in the Europa League.
Who's this Onana you want about? Or Martin? Onana.
Onana.
Yeah.
Onana.
So I was watching the road to Bilbao before, and the two in Turkey, the double save in Turkey was fucking incredible against Fenerbahce. I don't know if you remember.
Palace. There was Palace as well.
Eze, there was one from Ibrahimovic Eze in the Premier League. Yeah. There's been a couple in it, but you also don't forget about the mistake in Victoria Pleasant. Do you know what I mean?
I know. That's so the point I'm making is, I don't know if I'm doing him a disservice with like just saying, oh, he's shit, because there's been times when I believe he's like saved us a few times. And I don't know if it's just recency bias, but I mean, just hypothetically, I'd go for Martinez over him if there was a deal to be done.
Yeah. What about the character, Sam? Because obviously there's something that got described with Andre Onana, that he's got the right temperament and character to deal with Manchester United, and that shit hit the fan. Probably within the first game, I remember against Wolves, where he basically punched a guy in the box, and they should have had a penalty there, but it won't give him. And then so on, the 17 plus mistakes after that as well. But when you look at someone like Emi Martinez, does that stand out to you as the type of character United need to recruit from the outside looking in?
He is a bellend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, as a person.
It's a polite way to put it.
He's an absolute knobhead as a person. Like, if he's not on your team, you're watching him going, I fucking hate him. I hate him. That is like we saw his antics at the World Cup. Didn't he have his golden glove and he was shagging it?
Bare mad shit.
It was something. Yeah, I saw that.
He was only talking shit to someone when they were taking a penalty against Argentina.
He
as
always
well.
does it.
Like,
always does it.
Yeah, but he was like told off by the referee and booked or something like during the World Cup. Like he's doing all sorts of shit. So he's a proper knobhead. But when he's on your team, I bet you love it, don't you? Like when he's on your team, you're like, yes, wind them the fuck up, play the mind games, do all that shit, and you probably love it. The thing with I think he's a very good goalkeeper. Obviously, he's a World Cup winning goalkeeper, so he's a very good goalkeeper. And he played with his feet, his distribution is not bad and stuff like that. But the reason they're getting rid of him is down to his high wage, because they have PSR concerns. So Villa have got they're in the sort of on the bracket end of like PSR worries and stuff like that, which is why they loaned Rashford and why they loaned Asensio, and they didn't buy because they can't afford to buy. So the reason that Martinez goes one of the highest wages on the bill is that something where they're going to risk and bringing him into the team, and he becomes one of our highest earners. And we've been there before, bringing in players on high wages, and it's not worked out too well. So that's what concerns me. Like, what sort of wages are you going to be asking for to come into United? Now, I know Atletico are interested, but unless Oblak is leaving, and I don't know about it, I've not heard anything. I don't know why he would go there. Like, is he going to displace Oblak? I don't know. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me personally. But if he's willing to take a wage cut and willing to be on a decent wage, then yeah, I'll do the deal. I'll happily do the deal.
Price wise, what do you think he would go for? Because surely you're thinking when we're trying to work out a budget, and obviously that's going to dramatically change if we win the Europa League and get back into the Champions League. We've probably got an extra 50 to 100 million pound to play about with. But judging from the priorities and the players that they're looking at, can you squeeze a keeper in there, Chevy?
I think with transfers, especially this summer, it's not necessarily the transfer fee matters, but I think it's more like the wages. Like that's a really big thing. Like,
Yeah,
and like Sam said, because I never really realized why he was going. I never really looked into it, but as Sam has mentioned, that's probably a point of contention because the wage bill, apart from us spending a lot of money, like paying a player high wages and him being crap, it also upsets our wage structure.
Yeah.
So then it makes other people start demanding more money and stuff like that.
You can't sell either. When you try and sell them, you can't sell
Then
them.
you're trying to sell, you have to loan, and then you end up paying for a player even when he's not paying for you. Like you've loaned him out and then you're still paying him. And I think it's just one of those things that we just have to try and avoid. I would err on going for just a decent keeper, not more than 25 mil sort of range. Because there's lots. We have there's a list of positions that we need to fill. Unfortunately, keeper is one of them. Even though I'm sure we didn't plan for that, but it's one of them ones. I wouldn't spend 30 million on a goalkeeper. Honestly, I'd look for like a deal. That Torino, the keeper who plays for Torino, who used to play for us, I don't know how much is he being quoted for?
I've seen 15, 20 million. I've seen dotted around, but
yeah,
So,
when United got involved, obviously it's going to start going up, isn't it? So
yeah. But then that's the sort of deal I'll be looking for, because if it doesn't work out, then you can kind of move him on. But then by that time, by next season, you've already bought your top player, so you can then still go and spend for a goalkeeper the following season.
Well, if you are just joining us, get your thoughts and feelings in on Emi Martinez as a goalkeeper. Obviously, I know there's a lot of people judging from, views online and opinions and comments and stuff, especially on our social medias, which you could drop us a follow on if you want, on Instagram, X, and TikTok. But a lot of comments is a lot of people would make almost the goalkeeper as a priority, moving him on. But he doesn't have that feeling at the minute that they're going to do that, because everything you're hearing is the striker, attackers, even midfielders, wing backs. Like, doesn't seem to be a pressure on that position, which is a little bit worrying for me. But I suppose whichever way you go, when you do go into next season, there's probably going to be a position, right, that's left unattended, or that we don't deal with, unfortunately. So you're going to have a worry on your hands either way. Now, I said the striker is a priority. We had kind of the Athletic. I think Laurie Whitwell mentioned something about Liam Delap, the United. Basically, I've had, I think it was like internal talks and basically describing how a transfer would look with him. The common narrative around Delap at the minute, lads, is feeling that you've watched Rasmus this season and how it's gone for him, and almost how many games he had to play last season as well. Delap has had a decent season so far, but is it a massive risk with that, surely? They're bringing someone in. I know it's a cheap deal. I know Wilcox, quote unquote, believes in him. But bringing him in, if he doesn't start scoring goals, it's going to end up like last season, isn't it?
Absolutely. To be honest, I find it a little bit underwhelming. Like, I like him. I really, really like Liam Delap, and I think he's a really good player. He's played in the Championship. He's played one full season in the Prem.
Yeah.
On paper, it seems, but I just don't see it, man. I really don't see it in this system. I can see him go to like Villa or somewhere else and kind of fit in. But I don't know if the responsibility of the number 9 in the way we play, if that's one that can fall on his shoulders. I was saying it to you guys the other time that I don't think we need a young striker in this. I mean, the only young striker I would go for right now would be Samu, the Porto striker. Yeah, that's the only young striker I'll probably consider to go for, because he's a handful. That's the kind of bullish pace, power, direct, all that kind of stuff. Like he bully defenders. He's got the physical presence there. But Delap is a little bit more technical, silky, he's quick, one touch. I can see him disappear in games. He will score a lot more than Rasmus, but I can see him going missing in certain games. So I don't know. I trust Wilcox. I really, really do. I trust his Wilcox and Barada. Like those are two people that I really, really believe in. I just hope maybe they've seen more than the rest of us. But I have to be honest, man. For me, it's very underwhelming. Just Delap.
Does he move the needle for you as well, Sam? And do you also think, depending on tomorrow night, we'll decide which striker we get?
I think obviously winning tomorrow, getting a Champions League, I think it's 100 million. I think you get from the win and
when we win it.
Champions League. When we win it, sorry. I won't ask Chivy's opinion.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on.
We've seen the group chat from Chivy. He's not in a good way. So, yeah, I think he's probably the option right now until we know what happens tomorrow. That's probably what we're laying the groundwork with. Yeah. Obviously, if we win tomorrow, maybe then the target shifts. I saw a report from that the guy who sounds like medication, Loic Tanzi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he works for L'Equipe, who 50-50 on
mid.
Sort of ribbon thing. Saying they're going to accelerate a move after this cup final win. Like they're going to move for him. And they're one of the only teams to make a concrete sort of move towards him. Like Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. have not made any concrete moves, like in terms of like scouting out and what's happening. So maybe that's the case. Maybe like, yeah, we're looking at the lap, and then we win the Europa League, we get in Champions League, and then we go, Victor, we're in the Champions League, won a trophy, former manager, fancy it, like, and maybe that happens. The Victor Osimhen thing seems to have died off. Like I've not heard anything from that. I know Laurie Whitwell mentioned they had looked at him and they'd looked at Mbuemo as well at Brentford. So they clearly have irons in the fire and options and stuff. But Delap, yeah. If we bring in Delap and Gyökeres, I think that's fantastic. That'd be great. If we just bring in the one, I would love it to be Gyökeres. But obviously financially, if we don't win tomorrow, it's going to be Delap because financially we're fucked and we need to bring a striker in, and he's the one that fits the budget. He's playing in the Premier League. He's a good age. Wilcox knows him. It ticks all the boxes, doesn't it?
Surely, though, you need to. You can't have... I'm not having it Ruben Amorim, and this I'm not saying this towards you, Sam, I'm saying in general. Yeah. I'm not having Ruben Amorim has looked at the squad every game and started planning when he came in to what strikers or what players he wants to bring in, and he's not saying to him, we need a couple of strikers, we don't just need one.
Was he aware of the financial situation though?
I'm sure when he joined the Wilcox and Omar, whoever it was, would have explained like, look, this is what we're planning to do. We have a good shot at the Europa League. Premier League's not going so well, so obviously dependent on what happens in Europe, then that will kind of decide the financial future. If we don't, this is the funds that we're working with in the summer, and we might have to box clever a little bit. I'm sure that they would have been conversations that's ongoing, but Delap isn't enough. You can't. We might end this season because we've got Villa in the next game in 17th, 16th, 17th.
Are we hoping that, because obviously the Cunha deal is 99% the way there? Are they hoping that Cunha, because how many goals has he scored this season? 12?
No, more. He's got 15 goals and like 8 assists or something. Okay. Yeah. So
are they expecting maybe more contributions from him in terms of goals, and then Delap comes in? He scored 12 this year, Delap.
Yeah.
So 12, 15, and then if Rasmus can get 10 or something like that.
That's wishing on a star, though, isn't it?
I know it is, but I'm just trying to get into their head, like their head away thinking is like, there's your additional 20 odd goals that we've obviously missed this year. Yeah. That's how I see them thinking. Obviously, we'd all love to just go get Victor Gyökeres, but financially, it might not be viable.
Yeah,
I would like to imagine that Ineos is just a little bit more ambitious than that. Like, and I agree with you, Nick. I'm not having it like it's like after everything we've been through this season, after our strikers have been very underwhelming in front of goal, and then the answer is Leon Delap. Like,
yeah, doesn't move the needle.
it doesn't really move it at all. Like
No.
I know we've got Cunha, but then we have to address the main issue there. Is like we need a finisher, and maybe the lap was an opportunity that sort of came up, and they realized, well, it's 30 mil, we can kind of do that and do something else on top of that. So I don't know. At least I'm hoping that that's the case, because if that's their ace in a hole for a striker, then man, I don't know.
Imagine you're trying to convince, I don't know, people who have ownership in United or have stakes or whatever it is, and they're like, right, what I want you to do is I want you to convince me that we're going to start challenging near the top again. What are your plans for the summer? And you go, right, you open your briefcase and you go, here's a list of players that Liam Delap we're bringing in as a striker. And they go, the kid from Ipswich, he's had a decent season, but you think he's going to come in and 20, 30 goals and just be a talisman, and he's had one season in the Premier League. It doesn't move. It's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. And I think other deals as well. Like I know there's been a bit of movement on the Cunha deal, and that looks like it's pretty much done. But like Liverpool, Frimpong, 2 days, bang, done. Loads of other clubs are making movements, and I guarantee by the time the window opens as well, there'll be deals done within seconds. Why are we not there was a thing before with Chekri Sam coming out, I don't know if it's from France or somewhere in Europe, that United have joined the race, quote unquote, which is just like come off it. But why, someone like him, who's available at such a good price, Amorim has watched him before in a game closely twice, and he's had very good games, with a record that he's got in Europe as well. Why are they not going in for a deal like that for 20 million?
I think because of his price point. So what is it, 20 million euros? Yeah. I think it's been scouted around. He's 21, I think. Size 21. So if he's leaving for that price, he's clearly a very talented kid, and his ceiling is quite high. I imagine, much like Liam Delap and Gyökeres, he's going to have a pick of clubs across Europe. And with the way United are looking right now, United is not looking like a really good possibility. Obviously, that could all change tomorrow. We're in the Champions League and money, blah, blah, blah. But right now, we don't look like a great prospect. If you look at teams like Liverpool, they've just won the league. They retain Mo Salah, Van Dijk. You look over there, you're like, that looks like a good option. Frimpong is like, oh, Trent's just leave. You could slot right in and become our number one right back. It's a nice and easy thing to sort of sell to. Zubimendi, we've got midfield. Partey's leaving. We've got Rice. We've got Odegaard. You're going to missing piece that could just slot in there. You'll be that integral bit. It's very easy to sell those clubs. It's not very easy to sell United. So I think in the past we would have just gone, we'll pay you way more than all of those fuckers combined. And that's how we got players. We can't do that anymore. So we have to sell the project, and that sometimes people don't want to pick the project, do they?
Well, we don't obviously have the knowledge of what other clubs are in for him and how many there is. But that's why you move quick on deals, isn't it? I mean, Lenny Yoro, Civir, for example, was well touted by Real Madrid, and that looked like it was nailed on, and then we swooped in and went and got him. So should we not be more proactive chasing deals like this? Because someone of his quality, as you've seen at Old Trafford and at Lyon, he's obviously a top player, and done it against Premier League squads as well. Yeah,
but I'm wondering if it's a case of us having to release players before we sign players.
I hate that though. Why does it have to be like that?
I think financially, I think it might have to be something to do with that. I'm guessing.
Leaving,
I'm just guessing. Yeah, I'm just guessing. I don't know if that's the case or not, but because I understand. He's a quality player, good age, good price, easy deal to do. Why not? I mean, there could be a number of reasons, but I don't know. It's probably, and he's one of my favorites. Personally,
top player.
I'd love to get him because I can see the connection with him and Ahmad. I can see both of them connecting well on that right hand side. Him playing the right 10 and Ahmad being the right wing back. It would work. So I don't know. I really don't have an answer to you. I mean, it's obvious. It's probably the obvious thing to do, but that's United. We don't always do that, do we?
No. I just like the fact that we've seen him though, because a lot of players we get linked to, like Mastutuano, is that his name? The one that we've been heavily linked with, who a lot of clubs are chasing. Like, I haven't seen him really. I've seen bits and bobs, but I haven't seen him properly. Whereas Chekri, I've watched him 90 minutes, and I know what he's about. And I'm of the opinion that I think he would do really, really well. And whether you talk about physicality in the Premier or not, it might be a different conversation. But I just think you need really technical, capable players in them specific roles with what Amarin's got, and it's night and day when you bring Ahmad, Chekri, Cunha in like a forward. Like, it's just fucking.
It changes everything
so much.
You look at the way our defense has changed. Like when we had like Maguire and Lindelof, it was just chaos, wasn't it? It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I just think you brought in a quality defender like De Ligt, Lenny Yoro, Mazraoui can play there. Shaw was centre back, and you see the difference. Like, you see how much better it is. You see the fucking quality. So it's just, that's all it's about. It's just putting quality players in those areas that suit the system, and it's not different.
Even that first Ten Hag season when we had Martinez and Varane.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
it's
that
just
back
night and day, innit?
That first season. Yeah, it was crazy. Then you had Casemiro in the first season where he was really good, and then who else was on form?
Well,
Rashford?
Garnacho was starting to push into the team on it, but Rashford in his first season with Ten Hag got them 30 goals as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like with United, it's always like the one thing that you said before is, oh, well, we got to wait until we sell players, or we got to wait about for this, or, well, this guy's injured, so we don't know if we can sell him or not yet. And like, it's always ifs, buts, and
it's bad business. It's just bad business, bad planning. This is the result of just years and years of just bad business. Yeah, there's just not planning.
For 15 years. This is what all the shit's coming to, like, all the shit's hitting the fan now.
Chicken's coming to roost.
Yeah, we just completely fucked it. We used to be able to extend it out and put it on that credit line and do all this sort of shit. We've maximized every credit line. We're getting turned down by Wonga and fucking payday loans at this point. We're totally fucked, and that's why we've got to run like incrementally and just be like, okay, if that moves, then we can move this bit. If that moves, we can move that. That's the way we've got to operate at the minute. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
Massive summer ahead for the boys and the people upstairs for next season. But next season, lads, is defined. Well, a lot of it will be defined by tomorrow night's game in the final. Now, there was a weird kind of contrasting moods between the press conferences. I spoke to you off camera before we went live, and I was saying that Postecoglou seemed very spiky in his presser. He was snapping at things and really, like, I don't know, just didn't seem right at all. And then Ruben Amorim and Maguire and Bruno were all laughing, joking, in high spirits, smiling. There's a couple of quotes coming out from the press conference. But we've had an update, of course, earlier on today on Lenny Yoro, Xerxes, and Diego Dallo, that they've all recovered quite well. Amorim said they push, of course, have to respect the feeling of the player, but we push a little bit because they want to be part of the team. Very good sign. They are limited in minutes, but they can help us win the game. So weird, because Conflicting reports that, because Steve Railsden, who's quite accurate especially around kind of academy players and Carrington, suggested that they may be able to start, but even just having them in the squad, Sam, someone like Joshua Xerxes, who can take the pressure off Rasmus if he's struggling a little bit. Lenny Yoro is obviously hugely important, but if none of them start, would that worry you a little bit? Yoro in particular, I mean.
Yeah, like Xerxes, I understand, because they basically ruled him out for the season, didn't they? They were like, yeah, he's done. It's not happening. So if he didn't start, I'd be like, yeah, I understand that part. Yoro, his injury wasn't as bad as apparently it's been reported. He was in the gym the week after the injury. So I assume he's at some capacity where he could play a part. Whether that's a full 90 minutes or not, I don't know. But if he sort of started in the starting lineup, say over like a Victor Lindelof, you'd definitely feel more confident, wouldn't you? You'd be like, okay, that looks more solid to me. That I feel more confident about that. I'd love Xerxes to be available to start. That would be, if he was in the starting lineup, I'd definitely feel, again, more confident, but I just don't see it happening. However, I think we spoke about in the chat, say we've got 15 minutes, 20 minutes to close the game out and it's a bit tight, it's a bit close, throwing Xerxes on to hold the ball up or like bring players in.
Take the sting out of the game.
Defenders. Yeah, that's a really good option. I think that's a really, really good option. So yeah, it's great that they're still they're in the team and they can play a part. It's just a shame that he's not 100% where we could start him, because I think all of us across Europe and every United fan across the world would be like, yeah, I'd start Xerxes over Højlund at this point.
Yeah, I think so. It certainly seems like he's going to start, but there was also a kind of coinciding narrative going into this as well that both managers were kind of getting asked about, and Amorim got asked why he isn't under as much pressure as Postecoglou. And he says, like, I don't know. I know that in this kind of club, also Tottenham, but especially United, it's strange because you have some coaches here that lose some games and are sacked. It's hard to explain. I think people see what we are trying to do and see I'm thinking more about the club than myself. People, especially the board, understand we have a lot of issues that are in the context that are really hard. I don't know how to explain how the fans like me in this moment. But yeah, one's like, you're looking at Postecoglou, Chevy, going into this, it looks like he's going to get sacked regardless, even if he wins the Europa League. And you look at Amorim, who is a slightly different context. He's only coming in November. But the time will run out eventually for him, will it? Like, when the next season starts with Amorim, that's when the clock will start ticking down and fans will get impatient, because we've been fed this, trust the process for a long time now, haven't we? But we're starting to slide more and more down the league.
Yeah, I think he's used up any credit in the bank that he could have carried over to next season. And even winning the Europa League isn't going to save him that much from the fans. I think would have very, very little patience for him next season, especially if he gets his players. If he gets 5 players and we're still seeing the same results and we're still struggling, then I think he'll lose the fans very quickly, because if you think about it, when he came in, we were 4 points off Champions League places. And I think the only reason... Yeah, we were literally...
Wow.
We're within touching distance of the Champions League. We're 4 points off the Champions League. And at this point, I think the only reason why we haven't been relegated is because those other teams, the other 3 teams, were absolutely crap. And those are... and I think if the season was I think the championship, they play 40 games or something, 42?
Yeah, 40, it's more, it's like 45 or something like that, because it's 23 teams, I think, so yeah.
Yeah,
like
so if it was one of those kind of seasons, I think, realistically, this is not me being trying to troll, or I think realistically, we definitely would have found ourselves in a relegation battle, realistically, and I think that's a stretch too far for fans. Regardless of how much they like a manager, or they like what he has to offer, and he says the right things and they can see he's passionate. I think that's a bit too far, because you didn't even start the season and you still can't get up to 40 points. It's almost unforgivable. The only reason why he's here is just because we understand the situation of what's been happening at the club. And we know he's trying to, start this new style of play, and it's going to be difficult and blah, blah, blah. And we're very welcoming as well. We're very open when it comes to fans. So very supportive. We're hopeless romantics. Well, most fans, I'm not, but most fans are like hopeless romantics, and
Do you think
so that's the reason why
his character? Do you think that's why we all kind of resonating with a bit more? Because you look at Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag was more school teacher like one. He was very firm in certain things. He won't give much away. Whereas Amorim's very warm, very inviting, charismatic.
Not necessarily. I think it's just the United fans, most United fans just like the idea of having, ever since we've been spoiled under Sir Alex Ferguson. I think Van Gaal and maybe Mourinho were the only 2 managers that didn't have this cult-like following. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had it. There were still people that were... some of us I'd given up with Ole early on, as in super early, and people were still... And then there's Ten Hag, and even with Ten Hag, Ten Hag had his loyal following. There was, So I'm not sure if it's just Amorim's character, or just... Maybe it's a bit of both. Amorim's character, and it's also fans' loyalty. We're just used to being loyal to a manager, and we want it to happen. We really, really would love to see managers being successful and that sort of thing. And I think sometimes we just allow that to just, give them, way too many chances. And it's one of them ones. But just to round up and to answer your question, I think if we're in this sort of situation next season, he's not going to last long. He has to hit the ground running. He has, because and I also think the only reason why he's not up for, why he's not being, because if it was up to Sir Jim, I think he'd be gone.
Interesting.
But I think I think if it was up to Ratcliffe himself, he's a billionaire. Like, these people are arrogant. They hate being embarrassed. They don't want to lose. You know, they want results now. Like, if you're not getting results, and I think it's just because of people like Barada and Wilcox and the football structure behind. I think they're the ones saving Amorim, because I think if it was up to Jim Ratcliffe, he'd be gone. Honestly.
Interesting. Well, Amarin expanded on this, Sam. He said people will look at our team in a different way. If we win the Europa League, as winning a European title is important, nothing is going to change our season, but winning a European title can help us have that feeling to build a future. Do you think it is as black and white as if United win it, that will build the perfect platform to go on and then be successful? Or do you think, regardless either way, even if we lose this or if we win it, you still have massive concerns for next season?
Oh yeah, it's not a miracle cure all. Like, this isn't the cure to cancer, this winning this trophy. Like, we can see there's so many problems at this club, not just on the pitch but off the pitch. Fan culture is more toxic and divided than it's ever been. Like, it's definitely in my lifetime. I know me and Chivy are a bit older than you. Chivy much older than both of us, but I think, yeah, it's a broken giant in it, United. That's what it is. Like, we are the old boxing champion and we won everything and we were title winners, and everything. It's like, when you see the sad decline and they just start losing their faculties, and then it's not quite there, and you're like, oh,
are we basically McGregor now?
I mean, less of the coke and less of the punching old men in the face, but yeah.
We're more John Jones right now.
Yeah, like Muhammad Ali, like that kind of. That's who we are. Like, just, we used to be great, and now it's just a very sad decline on the way down. So there's a lot of issues, and I think whilst winning the Europa League would be great for us in terms of a little bit of an enjoyment on a really fucking shitty season, and also financially and in terms of being in the Champions League and attracting the right players and all that sort of stuff, which is all the beneficial stuff for on the pitch. That's just step one. Like, when this club feels like it's on the way back is when we compete for titles and we're looking like we could potentially win a Champions League. That's when we think, okay, we're on the way back. But yeah, it's a long, long road, and I don't think we're even on the on-ramp yet. Like, we can see the on-ramp, but we're not on it yet.
Yeah, we got to be careful almost, Chivy, about not masking it if we do win tomorrow night and not get overconfident and think that we're back. And because obviously we always see, and I was critical for it, I'm sure Sam will say he was critical for it as well, after winning a final like that, like, it does grab you by the emotion. It does get you kind of like believing again and having like this kind of connection with the team. But we had the same thing with Ten Hag, didn't we? Ten Hag beat the best team in a final convincingly. And then we saw the shit show that happened after that. Like, it's not a given, is it? This Europa League trophy.
No, it's not a given. But then also, like, with Ten Hag, you have to put down the manager, because we changed something towards the end of the season, and we really started to see results from that. I remember when we played Arsenal, I think they beat us 1-0, but we really, really had them. The system change was perfect. And all he had to do was just carry on with that. I mean, he just reverted to being an idiot, and that's why he lost his job, to be honest. As far as being carried away, I'm not. I'm so. I was saying this in the chat the other day. I'm so low. Like, I don't think the Europa League winning that, I don't think it raises anything, any hopes. It would be a relief for me, but I'm just so. I haven't been this down since. I mean, I thought Ten Hag was like the lowest I could ever go as, feeling as a United fan, but this season.
Penny for his thoughts at the minute, right? Ten Hag, what he's thinking at the minute.
Possibly going back to Ajax, isn't he? Like, the manager walked out of Ajax, didn't he? So apparently
been linked with Leipzig as well, heavily.
Yeah.
Oh, Ten Hag.
Yeah.
So Leipzig or Leverkusen?
Oh, Leverkusen. Apologies. Leverkusen, yeah. I have seen Leipzig thingies as well, though, links with both. So, but it was the Leverkusen one. It was more recently.
Yeah, Leipzig also. I think there's like a link with Jurgen Klopp as well. We don't know. But yeah, it's just I don't know. The Europa League will save the season for me. I'll be very relieved. It will be nice to play in Champions League, and I think it would be nice to banter people, and it's nice to win a trophy and all that kind of stuff. But I know what I saw, man. I know what I saw these last couple of games. I will never forget what I saw. Like, this when you watch a game, it's fine and good beating Man City and beating Arsenal and all these teams that come at you and you can sit back.
Yeah.
But when it's time to play your Bournemouth, your Brentford, when it's time to actually take the ball and be proactive with it, and you don't see anything coming from it. And sometimes you watch 10 minutes and you just know, like, that's it. Like, there's nothing going to happen. And it really doesn't happen. It's hard to come back from that for me. So, yeah, it doesn't save it. It doesn't save my season.
There's no doubt about it. We are a moments team, and we also have moments players. And I'm just happy Bruno and Ahmad and players like that are going to be available for tomorrow night, because I think they're going to have a massive say in it. And if you look at our Europa League campaign so far already, Maguire, Ahmad, and Bruno have all had massive moments in games when we've needed them. So the fact that them three are available for tomorrow is mega. And also, Sam Bruno got asked today about his importance and on how many limited amount of United captains have lifted European silverware, and he was saying, I'm not here thinking I'm going to be one of the captains to lift the trophy. The main thing is that our team brings the trophy back to Manchester. He also said, I think the manager's being very clear. We want to be at the top of everything, all competitions. This club needs to be. That's what we want. We have to focus on a big game and a big final. But just touch on his kind of campaign so far, Bruno in particular. You think about all the games that he's been through with him and his contributions in dying moments and so much. He's been really good, hasn't he, in Europe this season?
Yeah, he's been, Ahmad aside, obviously Ahmad had that time out, but he has been, if there's a goal coming or there's something that's going to happen, spark something, either a comeback or an equaliser, something, it's come from him. Like, he has been the one to spark that, like, ignition to get us going. And without him, potentially could have been relegated, potentially would have been out of this competition a long time ago. So yeah, without him, our season would have, you think our season is bad right now, and it is. Boy, like it could have been so much worse without the likes of him, like Ahmad. I think other players have had significant sort of marks on the team as well. Lenny Yoro, Matthijs de Ligt, Mason Mount even came to the forefront during the last Europa League game as well. The last 30 minutes showed what he can do. So there's been players in this team where they've shown up at moments, but yeah, Bruno has been consistent in showing up all season during one of the worst seasons of our history. So I think it would only be right for him to lift the trophy, but I want to see him lift a bigger trophy than that. I want to see him lift the Premier League. I want to see him lift the Champions League. That's what he deserves for the shit he's put up. He's come to United at the worst time I've ever seen us, and he's been far and away one of our best and most consistent players, and he could well leave the club without lifting a league title or a Champions League with us, which makes me sad. Makes me really sad, man.
Do you think he'll have regrets, Chekri, when he ends his career at United?
No. No chance. I don't think so. I think the club has he's done really well, but I think the club has really elevated his status. Like, he might have gone to, I don't know, Atletico Madrid or something and been just as good, if not even better. But just the status of Man United, like being the captain and all that, I think is one of them ones where sometimes football kind of precedes things like trophies and money. It's like, yeah, I think both have been brilliant for each other, the club for him and him for the club as well. And I don't think he regrets it at all. Like, we've really, really had a player here. And I think there's so many, he's had better times than bad times, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I think so too as well. I mean, yeah. We've qualified for the Champions League with him a few times. Like, so much has happened. I don't think he'll trade it for anything except Saudi money if they offer 1.6 million a week.
I mean, they've offered fucking close to it. Like, they've chucked a lot of money at him.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but he's been brilliant.
I know I'm in the minority for this, and I'm gonna keep saying it. And I know there's a lot of people that disagree with it as well, but I'm not really bothered about that because it's just how I feel in general about him. I think he deserves some form of a statue or some form of appraisal, especially if we win it tomorrow night and he scores the winner or he has a significant impact on the game and puts in a proper captain's performance. I know he's only winning Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup or whatever. I know it's not Premier League titles and Champions League titles, but for me, it's more impressive. If he wasn't at the club in the past 5 years, God knows where we would be right now, genuinely, without him. Like, I know he's had his moments where we've criticised him as well, and we've got annoyed with him sometimes in the big games and his petulance and red cards and stuff, but no player's perfect. Tell me United legend, really, that hasn't picked up red cards or had silly moments. Do you know what I'm saying? So, for me, I know you guys might disagree. I know there's people who watch might disagree, but I think he's been such a huge, significant, and important player in the past 5 years. Like, it's almost understated how much it is. We'd be so much in the shit if he wasn't a part of us this season. And it didn't, the 20 goals and 20 assists, whatever it is that he's got. Where the fuck would we be in the league right now? Genuinely.
A mural, not a statue.
Something, yeah, like just, I'm saying like a form of appreciation for him. I don't know what that would be. Something, because he fucking deserves it. Of anyone who's come and gone at this club, he's stayed there and he's been one consistent who's delivered for us when we needed it the most. And that to me is a legendary thing that I appreciate as a fan.
The level to get a statue at United is fucking high, because Beckham hasn't got a statue, Keane's not got a statue, Rooney's not got a statue, Ronaldo's
There's a list. There's a list of players.
Long fucking list of players who don't have one, and the ones that do have one, undeniable. Like the Trinity statue, for example. Like, you can't. George Best, Bobby Chat, like, it's just undeniable. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
So I think statue is a bit far, but it definitely needs recognition. Like, he needs something.
Yeah, you know how you've got like at Old Trafford, you've got like Oli's like the legend thing and the 20 Oli and maybe like some tifo somewhere for Bruno, but I wouldn't go as far as like a statue. But I get your point. He's been, if you're going to like judge him on the importance to the team over the past couple of years and how impactful he's been, then yes, I get it, because it's he's been really, really impactful. I've been, in comparison to a lot of people that have come and gone, people that we hinged our hopes on. Di Maria's, the Falcao's, the big names came and went, didn't deliver anything, and so I get your point.
I think about his talent level for me. I'd put him up there with a lot of players. I think he's so fucking talented, genuinely, and I think that's why I think I'm not saying he'd have regrets. But I have no doubt in my mind, like, if he would have been playing in Spain now for Barcelona or whoever it is, let's say whatever team it is, he would have won league titles. He would have won maybe a Champions League or two, if he was at Bayern Munich or something like that. So that's the only reason why I asked the question.
You look at City, like Kevin De Bruyne, who's playing his final game, home game for City tonight. His record speaks for itself, and his metrics and his stats are only matched by Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. It's the only guy who comes like near him and possibly excels him. You telling me you put Bruno in that City team, and with the injury record that Bruno has, that he hasn't got a treble right now and a couple of like Premier League titles? He definitely has. Has.
It's interesting, isn't it? The future for him. It doesn't look like he's going Saudi, but yeah, if he delivers it again tomorrow, I'm so thankful to have someone like him as a player. Just the last thing before we head off, lads. Maguire was also part of the press conference as well, and he was being asked about him maybe being praised too much now after all the shit that he received a couple of years ago, and he was saying, I don't really take too much notice of plaudits when you play for a club like this. You could be an amazing player and then a villain. I just try go into every game and do my best. That's all you can do. What have you both made of Maguire recently? Because again, he's another one in the Europa League as well. Some of the moments he's had have been fucking mega, haven't they? Huge. That Lyon game when he scores that header was a massive, massive moment. Like, things you'll talk about for hundreds of years almost.
The fucking Bilbao game where he does a fucking step over and does a defender and then puts a cross in for the goal. Like, who knew the Harry Maguire had that in his fucking locker? Because I've never seen that from him. Today
in the presser that Amarin had him dribbling in tight areas and boxes and stuff like that. Yeah. So
I've never seen that from him. Like, normally you see him on the ball, he's a bit like he sort of goes forward a bit cautiously and he puts a pass out. he was doing plays like he's fucking prime Rivaldo. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. But yeah, his remontada is like a sort of lesson for any player who goes through a shit time at a club.
Yeah.
There's always a way back. There's always a way back. And he is an example of it. You either fight and get your way back, or you quit and you down tools and you fuck off. We know what Maguire's made of. He worked hard, came back, and now he's an extremely important player for us. And we've seen other players face a bit of adversity and go, nah, I don't fancy it, and give up. So, yeah, all credit to the guy, man. I am absolutely well happy for him.
Expected a big performance from him tomorrow, Chekri.
Yeah, he deserves all the blood. It's like, even if he doesn't, even if, God forbid, we don't go ahead and win it, but like, he absolutely deserves it. Harry Maguire was the most abused player last year, wasn't it? Like, was it last season or the season before?
Social media.
He's a before,
yeah,
I think.
he was the most abused player on social media, and the majority of the abuse was from United fans. It was like your own fan, like, abusing you. And I felt bad for him and his mom on Twitter, like, fighting everyone, trying to defend her son.
I remember that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like, his mom had to get involved because she couldn't just stand by and watch people, like, just slay her son. And then, was it this season? It was this season. There was a game we're losing in the Europa League. We're losing, and like in the early stages, like we're winning, and then he came back and scored. Was it Porto?
Yeah, we went 10 men down, and he scored in the 94th minute.
Exactly. Yes, Bruno gets a red card. Yeah. We're winning 2-0 before. Bruno gets a red card. Whatever happens is 2-2. They score 3-2.
De Ligt had a horrible game. De Ligt had a...
And Lisandro, both of them.
Yeah, and I think it's literally the last kick of the game, and Maguire rescued it. And from then, like, in most games, he's come through for us. So yeah, he deserves it, man. Yeah. I really, now that you've mentioned it, Nick, I really, really want us to win it just for him. If anything, just for him,
Yeah, the story arc, because as well, you don't know what's going to happen after that. I know he's got a year left on his deal, Andy Maguire. I think he said he wants to retire at United or whatever. But yeah, just have that in the bag and just say, look, I know it was a shit time. I know there was periods where it's just the abuse was like you couldn't get away from it. But to come away with a Carabao and FA Cup, Europa League isn't bad going, really, considering our life started.
To add to the storyline, you remember the last Europa League where the one with Ollie, where we lost? He was injured, and we were all saying, "Oh, that's a miss." That like he's super injured. He wasn't there, and we lost. Like, obviously, we lost on penalties. Maybe it might have been different had Maguire them, and we don't know. Yeah. So to come back and now be a part of this final and be a part of why we could potentially win it because he provided moments in the other rounds leading up, like that's another sort of string to the bow, isn't it?
I do think it's going to be important as well tomorrow. Spurs tend to go a lot more direct in Europe for whatever reason. So you're going to need a big lad in that back line winning headers against you Solankis or whoever it is. So yeah, sets it up for a fascinating game. And we are literally very close to 24 hours away from that massive final in Bilbao. I've seen all the clips of fans over there. I'm so fucking jealous. Like, a couple of people I know, they've had sponsorships with coaches that have took them over there, and they're in Bilbao now, and they've got finals. I'm so fucking jealous watching everything and kind of build up around there, because them kind of things, like one-time moments in it, like you never know when you're going to be in the final again.
It's a trek to get there, because I actually
there's no direct flights, is there? You can't.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Yeah, when we won the semi-finals, I was checking on how did you get to Bilbao, and it's like you have to fly to fucking I don't know, and then
Barca,
drive like how many hours.
I think Jay from Paddock, I think he went from here to Birmingham, from Birmingham to Barca, and then drove to Bilbao.
Well,
I think.
And then you have to drive,
Our friend of the channel, Carl Anker, he flew to Paris, and then flew to Barca, and then drove to Bilbao.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, like, it's mad.
I was trying to look for like the easiest way to go there. Like if I had to, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to finish off on it. Did you see the guy who has gone on a fucking tiny boat to Bilbao? And I couldn't. I'll send you the video after this. He's gone on a tiny boat, like a little. I don't even know what it is. It looks like a speedboat, but without the fucking engine, basically. And he's got loads of beers on there. He's got a barbecue on there and everything. And he's just gone with a load of mates. And I was sat there thinking, like, surely is that legal? Can you just go into another country on a boat and just?
If you got your passport, then Yeah,
That's what I mean. Is that how it worked, though? Could you just turn up on the beachfront and just
How's he going to go back?
on the boat? I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, we all them. Yeah.
I don't know
I
if I
swear
would be
down,
on.
there was a video of him, I promise you, on the boat saying, on the way to Bilbao in his United shirt, and he's got a barbecue on the boat, he's got beers and everything.
Two things. I don't know if I want to be on a boat where the captain's getting pissed and we're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know if I want to get on that boat. And then the second thing, a barbecue on a boat. Aren't boats made of wood?
Yeah, well,
that's not a good thing, is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's going to make
also,
it after that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to make it. Border Patrol will definitely get involved.
You think, wouldn't you? Like, who's this? Binoculars like that? Like, who's this guy here? You see someone like on a barbecue cooking up like
because they're trying to radio. Yeah,
he's got the apron on with the naked man on it and stuff. Yeah, and he's got tongs and stuff, and he's just.
Border Patrol definitely. Obviously, because if it's a vessel, they will try to get in touch. Like, who are you? Like, where are you? You know, that sort of thing. Like, yeah.
He gets on the radio. He's just going United.
Fair play. What a story that'll be. Imagine getting there and we win it. Wow. Yeah, incredible story. I will send you that in the chat, and anyone else asking for it in the YouTube chat, then we'll get back to it. Sorry we couldn't read out as many comments because there was a lot of stuff to get into, but yeah, massive final tomorrow night. Try and enjoy it. It's going to be nervous as fuck. Hopefully we come away with a dub and a trophy, and obviously all will be discussed on the channel when everyone is de-sobered up and all that kind of jazz. So appreciate you all. Smash like the video, subscribe to the channel. Me, Sam and Chivy. We'll see you tomorrow.